Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interesting episode of Minds and Thoughts. My name is Phathanani. I am your chef. Of course, as usual, I am not alone. I'm joined by handsome guys. Handsome guys. Guys, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And what's special about you? And then you follow.
Well, my name is Andrew Letole, and I am born and raised from Mamelodi.
Okay.
I am, of course, a real estate practitioner by profession.
Oh, okay.
But I think the biggest thing I pride myself with is being a servant of the LGBTQI plus community.
Servant. Oh, nice.
Welcome, servant of the LGBTQI community, as I am a rainbow child myself. You say.
Well, I don't have a beautiful CV like Andrew. My name is Lungile and I was born in Standerton but raised in Pretoria, Sunnyside.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now I'm trying to get inside UP to study there as a theologian.
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Hey. Okay. Look at you with all
Look at
those
you,
layers.
like honestly.
But anyway, this is like Bangobani, Babuyapi, and beautiful story behind that. Today, we are talking. We're not discussing. We are talking. Absent fathers in our lives. Absent fathers in our lives. But before we go, you see, I don't even have my things that are like, okay, because this is something that also affects me. So, what is your understanding when you talk about absent fathers before we can just go and so any of you, just this, an overview before we go far?
If I may.
No problem. As I eat.
As I join you.
I think from the way I look at it, of course, you have a man who chose to have a child or with someone, or sometimes it's not a choice.
Okay.
If someone is going to be absent, there are certain factors that influence that. And it could be the relationship that they have with the maternal being, the mother. It could be, do they understand themselves?
Okay.
Where are they in their lives?
Okay.
You know, are they prepared for it? Of course, yes, you may engage in the act, but are you prepared for it? Where is your mind? Because I think, I don't want to be sounding like I am scared, just dismissing some things, but I think, Uguti, there is something within absent fathers that is broken. They may be broken people themselves, and therefore finding very difficult to be present.
And which I understand you, but I don't want you to go far. I just wanted an overview, and I don't think, because now I see and I want to attack, but it's okay. Look at your understanding.
My understanding of absent fathers is a man who did not take the responsibility of taking care of his child.
Okay.
And part of that, maybe just like he said, the other things like family disputes about the child. If the child is not yours, because things like that nowadays in our culture as black people, where your mother, man's mother, can say that child does not look like you, so therefore he's not your child. And obviously, as a man or a boy who likes to listen to his mother will comply and say, no, the child is not mine. But as time goes on, you'll realize, because that boy was mine.
That's just
Deep.
guys. I felt that.
That just cut deep. That just cut deep.
I felt that.
But we need to be strong. That just cut deep. You know the thing about Minds and Thoughts? When I'm asking an overview, that's where I manage to get some questions, etc. Because as I've said, with this is we are talking, and I want to start when you are saying it might be that, because we're talking about the men that are absent in the life of their kids. It can be a girl or a boy. When you are saying it might be because they are broken, What do you mean?
Look, I think the first thing, I look at myself
Yeah.
as a young adult,
Yeah.
and I'm not coping.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I am not okay. There are so many things I'm struggling with. I would love to be a father. I would love to be someone's parent. But there is so much inside of me that is still struggling to heal. And
Because of
part of that, it has to do with my paternal connection, my father. And it's not because I do not know this man. I know him. I had several years of life with him, and he's still there. My father was a man that had 2 women in his life.
so he wasn't a polygamous.
It was not polygamous. There was no consent from both parties.
Okay.
And he fathered an equal amount of children on both sides. You know.
Your father is
And
a legend.
let me tell you this: our ages probably align.
Okay.
Because I have a half brother who looks just like me, who is the same age as me, who is queer just like me. Very interesting.
You proceed. So, your father, and then is it, maybe you might know, maybe you might not know. Is he present for the other kids?
Yes.
Okay, you can proceed.
I'm not sure if he's actively present, if he's participating
Okay.
in their lives, because I know that my half brother, even though they live together, doesn't have a relationship with him. So this is why I take it back to the fact that it may be a system that, or he may be a broken person. There is something that might have transpired in his life, and I'm not making excuses. I am looking at my life as a human being and the various experiences that I've had, and I am where I am. I'm not okay. What is to say that he is, or he was at the time that
He got to the point of bothering me.
Have you ever tried to? Do you talk before I ask you whatever I want to ask you? Do you guys talk? Do you guys communicate?
Yes, we do. Now we do.
Now you do.
Now we do.
So, since you guys now you are talking, have you ever tried to raise whatever that is bothering you?
No, I'm afraid.
Okay, proceed where you ended. I just wanted to know that.
No, I am afraid.
Okay.
I don't know how he's going to respond.
Okay.
And I think for a second, or for whatever reason, I choose to have whatever relationship I have with him, is because I too want to feel like I belong and have a father. And even though it may compromise me as a person and my emotions and my psyche, I just want to have a father. Whether he's physically there or emotionally there, it doesn't matter. Him existing around my space is what I'm crying for the most.
You mentioned something when you were busy talking, because when I said to you, Mindset and Thought, it's when I give you guys an opportunity to give an overview, that's where I pick some of the things to ask. That's what makes my show the best and unique. You mentioned that your father, when I ask you, the other siblings, is he there? You said yes. He's staying with one name, whoever. So you mentioned a point, I don't know if you heard yourself, where you were saying, I will put it in my own way. Sometimes you can be there, but are you really there? Because there's this thing that we misunderstand. Oguti, sometimes it's not about you giving me money for me to see what you are present. I just want you. You did say you just want your father.
That's exactly right.
Lungile, you mentioned that sometimes the family, they get involved in saying that mara lo mntwana akafani nawe, which is true. I just want you to go deeper on that. Why, when I was asking about the overview, you shot straight there. But I'm not saying to be in the box there. We are talking. You can even touch some of the things that Andrew did touch. We are just talking. Yeah.
For me, it's what I've always wanted my father, you know. But
Do you know your father?
I know him by name and I've seen him. And I have brothers too, one older than me, and I have a sister, younger than my stepsister, who's also has a different father but also shares the same situation as me. So it's like this, where on my side of my view of things is I have two fathers. One is absent totally, but one is there financially. But as for me as a young man, as a young man who's striving to be not part of the system, like he said, where every man doesn't take responsibility of being there for the child physically, especially as a young man who wants to know, Dad, how is it like to be a man?
Yes.
What is a man?
Yes.
You know? And like he said, I started to realize that most men or most young men die at the age of 18, but only get buried when they're old. So when a man is not there to teach us certain things, we turn out to pen out of the ways of not really knowing what to do, and we break ourselves internally without realizing it. So when I'm there when I was 12, looking for my dad, I asked my mom, you can see I want my dad. Even though my stepdad is there, but he's not my dad. He's not here. I want my dad.
Sorry, can you get me a tissue in the bathroom?
The one who planted the seed in me, the one who gave me his blood. I want him here. Then my mom explained to me the story of how his mother told him that I am not his son.
Before you go to that story, why you wanted your father?
As a little kid, when I was 12, all my friends have two-parent homes. So when they talk about their parents and they go, my mom does this, my father does this, my father bought this for me. Then when comes my turn, and now in my head, I need to, quickly I think of a lie, saying, now my dad is in Mozambique somewhere or Congo doing something. Then it started causing commotion inside of me where it's like, but your mom knows where your dad is. Why don't you ask her? So I went out to venture the truth of where is my dad and why is he not here. And that's where I found out that both sides of our family were involved in not me knowing my dad and not seeing him.
Wow. Yo. That is...
So it's really affected your life.
Most part of it, yeah. Because even today, I am a leader at church. But it's very difficult for me to stand up and tell people, live your life like this. This is the way you should go. While me, myself, inside of me, there's a yearning inside of me that says,
something is missing.
I need this. I don't have a father myself. He passed away when I was in standard 4.
That's great. 7.
That's grade 6.
Yeah.
But I don't know him. Yes, I know he was my father, but I don't know him. He never hugged me and tell me that I love you. I don't know my father. I know it is, I had this man. This is the man. Fortunately, he didn't deny me. So now, how I'm coming to you, you said you are scared to tell him how you feel. Are you planning one day to talk to him? Are you getting any help to deal with? Because it's a problem, and if there's a problem, it needs help. Do you understand? Are you planning, or you just gonna let it be?
All right. So my relationship with my father is a bit intricate, and I chose to sever the relationship at a younger age because I was not feeling satisfied with the relationship that I was having with him, and I was not happy with who he was in my life. I had to chase after him. And in that moment and in that space, I felt like, no, this is not right. You cannot be doing this to yourself. It was about I think it was last year, yeah. Last year, early, I asked my sister for his phone numbers again. And I felt like I was prepared to speak to him again. Because I have been going through therapy. And my psychologist and my therapist, actually, rather, suggested that, hey, how about you reach out, hear what he has to say,
Because
see what he's prepared to do. I reached out, and I think the point of me reaching out was because I'm a very I observe African spirituality. And at the time, you know, it was about me feeling lost as a being, as a man, and within my domain, as, you know, surnames, all of that. And I was reaching out for that. I wanted to find out what his intentions are as a father.
And Andrew, everybody wanna belong. Everybody want to belong. Everybody wants to understand his or her identity. So before you proceed, just tell me, so your father is only having you, Gumamako, or you've got other siblings that you are sharing the same father with?
Okay, so
From your mother's side,
from my
not
mother's side, all of them are his children, all four of us. And like I said, he has an identical number on the other side, and possibly more. I don't know. Right? And, you know, I think when I reached out to him, it was a very selfish reason, and I don't feel guilty for it.
Okay.
I wanted him to do what he needed to do culturally in order for me to be okay in my life and to be observed by my ancestors from his side. I spoke to him, I asked him, and this was last year. To this day, he cannot come back to me about it until I decided, listen, I'm going to make peace with the fact that there is possibly no relationship or means for amends when it comes to this. I had to make peace in myself that this man is selfish.
Let me hear Lungelo. Lungelo, you did mention that the family disputes. Now I want to understand you. After you heard all those things from your mother, I believe, did you blame your mother in some of this situation that you were hearing? Where were you, like your mind? And then, because remember, when you were brought on this earth, so now when you are asking, you need to ask from these people who brought you here. Unfortunately, it was only person. You didn't hear both sides of the story. So what was happening in your mind? Did you blame your mother? Did you blame yourself? Did you blame God? What was happening? That's what I want to understand.
Well, when I asked my mother these questions, I was 12. So at first, I was like, okay, there's nothing to it. Then as time went on, I began to to have a hatred started building up inside of me, was saying, okay, I go home, back home every December. You see me, yet you don't want to talk to me. Yet I hear my brothers are looking for me, yet you don't want them to come speak to me. I do not deserve your love in any way or form, just like my other brothers and sisters. Or you want me to suffer just like a bastard child, as they call us.
Excuse me, sorry.
Because he is married, and I'm thinking he wants to make his wife happy, but his wife's children are not his only children. I am still his child. And just like he said, I'm Christian, but also I still recognize the African spirituality of things. I have my mother's surname, but also for things to get proper, I need my dad's surname also aligned with me. As an African man, I need to continue his line, but how can I continue someone's line who doesn't want me? So the hatred started.
Do you know his surname?
Yeah. I know his surname. Yeah.
No, proceed. Don't need to mention it.
So the hatred started building up, and I started feeling no urge anymore to go to him. To me, it was like, what are you going to do to a man who doesn't want to have time for you? People can tell you, because every time I go home in December, they tell me your dad is looking for you. And I ask myself, why does he send people? He knows where I live. Can't he come and
Be a man.
Yeah,
Yes.
come and say, I want my son back. He is my blood.
Yeah.
And no one can deny him that. But here's the question, why does he not do it?
Okay, so now go to this point. So you guys were telling your mother about this situation. The hatred was only developing in you. You want to say something?
Yeah, I actually just want to touch on that, the mothers and anger for the mothers. Because I think sometimes we're way too hard on our mothers. Because in my selfish quest for wanting my father around, when I tried to rekindle things with him in the previous year.
I'm crying, baby.
It's okay. It's all right. We are too.
This is just me.
We are too.
Yeah, so
Okay.
everything is real.
I'm trying to block my tears from coming
that's
out.
what we want. Everything is real, so we can't run away. Proceed.
Yes.
We can't run away from that.
And in that process, I did not consider my mother, because the day that I invited him over was on a day where my aunts and uncles were around and my family were around.
When you invited your father.
Yes. In order for him to, because that's what I brought him there. I was very selfish in my quest. I wanted him to account and to speak to them and to say what is his intentions with his children. But mostly myself, because I understand my siblings' position.
Are your siblings boys or girls?
I have two younger brothers and an
So
elder
you are
sister.
the oldest.
No, an elder sister. I have one elder
okay,
sister.
okay.
So I didn't want to impose what I wanted upon them, and I wanted them to decide for themselves if they wanted to join and to be a part.
Remember, we are individuals.
Yes.
So whatever we're going through, it's an individual situation.
Exactly. And I did not consider my mother in that process, because there was a reason why they were no longer together.
Yeah.
And I think I was very selfish and just thought about myself. Looking back on the day, my mother was the most uncomfortable person. And I think I still have to apologize. You did. I think I have to apologize to her for that, because I still haven't done it. For bringing him into her space, into her house.
Can you do that? Can you do that to Mama?
Yeah.
Can you do that? She deserves it.
Ma,
She deserves it. It's okay.
ndikombera pfarero. I don't think what I did was right, and I'm sorry that I didn't consult you in the process. Because nende shikotoda what I needed at the time. I hope that you can find it in your heart to forgive me. But I know because you're a mother, you'll say that you do. I'm sorry I was not sensitive to your emotions and who you are and what you went through.
Mama, we love you. I asked him to do that because I met you and I met a beautiful woman. So, yeah. And I love it when you acknowledge that you were wrong. Remember, there's something that pushed you to that point, as I was asking Ulungelo. So, Lungelo, tell me your thoughts now about mental health. We've got a lot of men that are killing themselves, that are beating other people. I'm not going to mention the gender, that are beating other people and doing all these things that we don't understand. I'm asking this question because you spoke about the anger that was developed inside you. Remember, you are a young man and you are growing. You still have a future. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Mental health is something that, as when I was in high school, which was brought to light to me when a girl jumped off a roof and killed herself. We witnessed that for the very first time, that there is something called depression and anxiety within our age. And what makes a young person who still has a young future, like you said, go to that breaking point of saying, I want to end my life. There's no point of living anymore. And the more I dug deeper in it, I've realized that there are a lot of issues, not only the fathers, but also some of the issues that our mothers run away from and don't want to discuss with us. And at that point now, a teenager now looks around at social media, which is now the biggest mother or father of things. And now you want to be like a specific person, but not realizing that that kind of lifestyle is not really what you need. And you begin to judge yourself, lower your self-esteem. You begin to criticize yourself in a manner that you don't think you're ever good enough to love or to be loved. So then a person stops seeking love, and which is one of the which is one of the most terrible things a one person can ever do for themselves, to stop seeking love, because love is a place of comfort where you are treated with kindness. You can cry like you are crying now. You can share your story. You can be, and as a man, you can shed your tears. Because we should stop the stigma of saying men do not cry. We do cry.
Yeah.
We do cry. We do. I rather let my friend cry on my shoulder than go to his funeral next week.
Wow, that's profound, Lungelo.
I'd rather do that than get a phone call saying, yo, sorry for saying your name, Dave, but yo, David just passed away. I'd rather have him cry on my shoulder. Or I'd rather
be there for him.
And be there for him. So that's why when someone tells me that they're depressed, I am there for them. Because I know how deep a person can go, especially a man, because men are very aggressive and assertive with the decision. Once they make the decision of saying, I want to kill myself, it's very easy. They just cock a gun and they're gone.
But also very vulnerable beings.
Okay, you now, Andrew. You mentioned that you are an advocate for rainbow kids like me, LGBTQI+. Have you ever asked yourself or blame yourself that you are gay? Maybe there was something missing. Maybe your father was not there to guide you whatsoever. I'm just asking. It's just a general question.
At an earlier age, I think, especially because I was raised Christian. And of course, it would come to me questioning God. It would come to me acknowledging or realizing that, okay, is my maternal influence the reason for who I am today, you know, in my spectrum. And I know it's not.
Okay.
It cannot be.
Okay.
Yes, my mother has a lot of influence in my life. And I think I am grateful for having experienced or been raised by her, because it's allowed me to be a vulnerable human being. It's allowed me to have effeminate attributes, because I respect them. I aspire to some of them. And it doesn't mean that just because you're a man, femininity is your enemy. No.
You just mentioned that cry. I'd rather have my friend crying on my shoulder than going to my friend's funeral.
So much beauty in admiring your effeminateness or your feminine side. And that is one thing that I learned from a younger age. I mean, I used to have a situation, or some of my friends used to call me a butch femme.
Okay. Let's hear now.
You know, just because I was. Oh, let's help you. There we go. You're good. I'm in touch with my masculinity, but just as in touch with my femininity.
I am. So.
So in finding that balance, you know, I think it was a shock to the space that I was in, and the people that I found myself around, as beautiful as they are. They were like, "Oh my God, you're a butch, but yet you are so femme," because you have all these cascades of wanting to label people.
You know. Okay.
Let me hear this one. I spoke about the mental evaluation. Lungile, I know your mother. She's a good friend of mine. I love her. She's very strong. So I want you to talk to her now on this situation that we're talking about. I'm saying this because we do blame our mothers. And I believe that you, at some point, you know, she didn't discuss it with me. I'm just saying. I do believe that at some point you did blamed her. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, girl. It was because I felt like,
Tell her.
okay, there's a point, I think, where we fought a lot. Reason being is that I felt like when you're pushing to get to know for my sister's father, to be there for her, there was a bit of jealousy and envy in it, because I questioned, why do you push for her and not for me too? Because I also want to know my dad. I want him to be there for me, just like my stepdad is for my sister. And I hope one day we can resolve that situation, or we can find amends for it and see where the future holds, if anything can ever be resolved between you and Ubaba or Nomamden Wak.
Do you tell me, do you wanna have a relationship with your father, or you fine now?
At this moment in time, I still need him in some aspects of my life. But there's also an urge where I go, what's the point? I don't see any point in it, because I have good male figures around me, but they too don't really act to the standard of a father. They are there, yes, to advise you and to tell you this is how to be, this is how you should be as a man. But you don't really listen to them because they are not your father. You only listen to your father because he knows how to strengthen you and how to give you his wit and his will.
You know what you just said? How many kids they will learn from this? Do you know how many kids are going through what we are going through here? You know the information you just shared now, just from your heart. It's not amended. Nobody said this is not scripted. It's just you. Do you know how many grown men that they will learn something from what you just said now? Anything you want to say?
I think, guys, I take my hat off to mothers.
Yes.
I really take my hat off to mothers.
It's painful, but we need to honor them and salute them. Babugulema Makaya, I hope you learn a lot from today's episode. I hope whatever that was shared today will help you somewhere, somehow. Minds and Thoughts, it's all about educating. It's all about sharing. It's all about learning. Do you want to say something?
I'll be fine. Okay.
Now, I want two of you. I'll start from you. Talk to your father.
I was not ready for that.
Talk to your father.
Yo,
Talk to him.
Dad, Papa. I'm disappointed in the man that you chose to be. In as much as I want to be understanding of your struggles, you had a choice to make. And you chose as you did. And today I'm paying the price. But it's okay. You did the best that you knew how to. In as much as I don't know what you were going through, I think a lot of men like you are going through a lot. They're hurt, they're broken, and I don't want to be like you. I'm going to be a good father. I am going to be a good father.
It's okay.
And I think what hurts the most is me still wanting to be a good son to you.
Please talk to your father.
True, Baba. Important. As young as I am, I still aspire to become a good man to a wife that I'll one day marry, to children that I'll one day father, and to be a great leader in a community that I'll one day serve. But your actions and your choices have shown me that the man you are is not a man I would want to become, but a man that I've come to despise. And for that, I think I would become a better man than you have in my life. So that one day when my children look upon this video, they will know my struggle and they will know that our dad was there because his dad was not there. And he fought for us. Because I'm going to fight for my children no matter what may come be, so that they may one day be able to be good citizens in this beloved country of ours.
Can I just say something before? I think what everybody needs to understand that this is not a male bashing or dad bashing moment. This is a moment of men, individuals, human beings sharing their experiences and sharing what it is that has led them to their broken state and are trying to rebuild their lives. Nobody here hates men.
No.
Just because they had a bad example of a man.
And what you're saying is true. We never use any hate or what. We're just telling the truth and we're just being honest to ourselves, because he did mention that he was angry for years and that was developing something. So now he is talking about it and it's a therapy on its own. So yes, there are bashers out there. They will say so many things. We are not doing that. On that note, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you
For having us and giving us your great
As
time.
I say, thank you so much for watching Matches and Thoughts. I am your host, Chef Phathanani. On that note, goodbye. Thank you guys. It's a wrap.